Well, 2 years is the benefit of doubt that the voters in an election give to an incumbent. After 2 years, it becomes a legitimate situation to campaign for the next election and to determine whether that government has succeeded or failed. Recall in America, every 2 years they have election so that they have a choice of changing the direction of the country if the incumbent is not doing well, or substantiating his position if he is doing well. Trump just came in. That's why you have midterm elections. Because they know that the legislature is the seat of power in a democracy. Because they have the pulse and they approve of all the appointments from the executive. So 2 years is what the incumbent has. After 2 years, they don't have any other.
Okay, all right. Good way to
any other hiding place.
Good way to open. So I just wanted to set that that frame just for the beginning, theoretically. So how will you then assess the first 2 years? I mean, I think probably in a few more days it will be exactly 2 years. What would be your general assessment before we go into the details?
Very good. I will restrain myself from using my words and my opinion so that people do not say that I am already, in a camp against the incumbent. I am going to use the words of APC members, of Southwest people, of Muslims. These are his own people and constituency. Not long ago, the Islamic clerics from the north came out to disassociate themselves from same-faith ticket as a result of the performance of this government. These were the people that were willing to go on jihad when this man chose a fellow Muslim to be his vice president. And they said they would go on jihad if they don't put them in. Today, they have repudiated that ticket because of the terrible performance of this government in power. The people from Southwest, particularly from Omeko, the city where Bola Tinubu claims to be his own town, they were the first that shot the first salvo. Ebim power. We are hungry. And this has been corroborated by the World Bank. And the World Bank was even merciless in their submission by saying that throughout the tenure of Tinubu, we will be hungry and we will continue to be more hungry. They say 3.6% of the people will continue to enter into deeper poverty. And by 2027, more than 56% of the population will be in abject poverty. Now, the APC people want Onopasa to be precise. He said he does not know where this man's administrative style came from. That he has no business in Aso Rock and that they will ensure he does not smell there and does not have second term. Now, he's a one-term president. Summing up these are people that were willing to die for this government when this government came in. They have weighed this government on a scale and they have found this government wanting. They have cancelled this government, and I agree with them in their submission that this government is only a one-term government because Nigeria is perishing. Okay, this is even factual things, strange things that I cannot even explain. It's happening in this government. You have seen where they say this is strange things I can't explain. A 10-year-old boy pregnanting 10 girls within 5 months.
Is that the
that's what I'm saying. Strange things. In the next 9 months, the guy will be a father of 10 children. Strange. Okay. Look at another strange thing.
Okay.
In the JAMB, you could see how technical glitch consumed 379,000 results, leading to the suicide of one lady. But here is the difference. Sadly. Your Oloyede man came out in tears, in total remorse, apologized, owned up identified the polling units, ordered a retake, and to ameliorate the situation.
I think that is honorable.
Wonderful, very honorable. Compare that with Professor Yakubu, who owned up there was a technical glitch, who refused to identify the polling units affected and refused to conduct a rerun, and shamelessly came and declared the results from the sky and told people to go to court. They reminded Oloyede, the JAM register. People petitioned. He listened to them, investigated it, and said they were correct. People petitioned Yakubu, the opposition. On that day, he was declaring that result. And they played back his own tape, audio tape. He listened to it, yet he continued and told them to go to court. That's the difference between being honorable and being dishonorable. Nobody should give 1 naira again to that Yakubu until he retires. He's looking for retirement benefit. It's the worst thing that has ever happened to Nigeria in terms of electoral jurisprudence and electoral process. Now, coming to Tinubu's own issue, let's talk about the basic things about
before you
government,
proceed,
which is the security and welfare of the people. Good. Now, let's take the issue of security and welfare, which the Constitution said is the primary duty of government. Tinubu's government has worsened the security of this nation. Please don't take my words for it. Take the words of Governor Zulum. He said Boko Haram is resurging in the northeast because they have taken away the resources, military resources, meant to fight Boko Haram to the northwest. And now, within 24 hours, within 48 hours, more than 10 of our well-trained soldiers humiliated, killed, after he has warned. So this is a government of the deaf and the dumb. A governor told you, look at what is happening. We need urgent response. None was given. Today, Boko Haram Iswa, the re-insurgency is manifesting in the northeast. Failure for him. Let's come to North Central. You saw what is happening in Plateau State. They killed the first 50-something persons. The governor of Plateau screamed. What did this government do? Nothing. Within 24 hours, 48 hours, they killed more people, going to 100. And you know what the media aide of the president said? Plateau governor, go and mind your business. Go and take care of your people. You're not implementing, shifting responsibility. The president was in Paris when those things were happening. Couldn't cut his visit short. This is Plateau. And the governor in tears was telling his people that they would see what they would do. Whatever happened to the state police when this president was a governor, all his successors were most vociferous on the issue of state police. And I mentioned Fashola, who has been saying it repeatedly that you cannot give somebody responsibility without giving him authority to perform. These are his proteges. And I told them that tyrants don't always like to devolve power. That now that he's president, a man that can make the National Assembly to do the impossible within hours can no longer make them to amend the Constitution to give us state police.
Do you think that is...
It is because he doesn't want it. As simple as that. Now...
Because he has said that it's going to be done.
What are you... Is it when he wants to leave or in his second term?
And NEC is...
It's going to be done. We're just saying 2 years. 50% of it. How many days did it take him to change the national anthem? How many days did he take him to change the tax reforms?
Well, that took quite
a
while.
They begged him to even slow down in the tax reform. What did he say? He said, no, I don't want to listen. It will go on in the National Assembly. Who told you that if you wanted state police, you wouldn't have gotten it within 2 weeks?
Okay. Your point is well made.
When Yaradua took ill and it nearly collapsed Nigeria, they amended the constitution within a month. Section 145, if I can remember. It takes will. Because he does not like that. That is why it is not done. People are dying for nothing. Because Nigerians know the solution. Let's move to Benue State. Still in the North Central. In Benue State, even a reverend father's prayer could not help him anymore. Because faith without work is dead being alone. His people are being massacred. And these places are the food basket of Nigeria. For you to know why we are becoming a basket case. When a government cannot protect the food areas of Nigeria, hunger and poverty ensue. And they are pretending they are working. Working what? In Benue, they kill people to the point that the Reverend Father came out and said the federal government should up their game. That is an euphemism of failure. How many people will still need to die before they do something? Let's go to the Northwest. Lakurawa, however it's called. An insurgent group that came in the disguise that they are protecting the people. And the people wholeheartedly submitted to them. You know why? Because of some spaces that are not just ungoverned, but ungovernable. And the people submitted only to discover that they are foreign terrorists. Do you talk about Niger? Good. The same thing. You saw how the governor of Niger State even descended to cutting the hair of Dada people. Do we go to the southeast? South?
But
Southwest.
The government cutting the head of dreadlocks, that's not the president's problem.
No, it's frustration. No, the president is the one who is in charge of the security and welfare. He has the monopoly of the forces, has refused to cede the power to the state government by allowing them to have state police and giving them the commensurate arms to take on the insurgents that have superior power arms.
Okay.
Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe said it's only a madman that goes to confront a man with a gun. You must be insane.
I wanted to take up, two issues. The first one is the issue of state police. And I see your point that when the president was going to change the anthem, it was quite, and then of course, the issue of the tax reform.
Yes, they pleaded with him.
Now, the issue of the anthem is not as complicated as state police, but the issue of tax reform is quite something that is showed very clearly that this was the direction it is going. I think, and this is my own view too, I think that if you look at what he has represented, and that is what I am sticking by, he has been an advocate of state police. So I still believe, and I will be utterly disappointed if the 4 years is gone and we don't have state police. That's my counter on that. And then on the issue of
so my question to you on that is why 4 years?
Why should it take 4 years?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't disagree with the fact. Look, the facts are the facts.
Because it's 2 years.
Yeah, there's no point about. There's no point, denying whatever the fact is.
Almost all the 36 governors, let's say 35, have agreed to state policy.
Yeah, so I don't think that he is blocking the state police. I think
he is
that
blocking
not
the state police.
I think that you are right that he's not as proactive as he
exactly
was
blocking.
when he pushed the issue of tax reform, for instance.
That is blocking.
But it doesn't necessarily mean he's blocking.
In criminal offense, I come as a lawyer.
Okay.
A crime is commission or omission.
Okay.
The same weight.
Okay, but then the limit.
You have just admitted that there is a crime of omission.
Let me respond. Let me respond. The difference there,
yes.
As a student of logic, I'm not a lawyer, but as a student of logic, is that the crime has been done and the time has elapsed. In this case, there's still 2 years. I don't deny the fact, but there's still 2 years.
I'm saying,
so it still has
if people
2
are
years.
dying at this rate. And they're saying because we don't have enough men, we don't have enough boots on the ground. And you would have to wait for another 2 years to allow. Look, 300 persons. 300 persons have died in Plateau State in his regime.
Don't let's debate.
I agree with you.
Facts.
I just want you to know that he's blocking it.
Yeah, so
by omission.
That's your
commission.
That's your view. I agree that indeed, yes, you are right to say that. Look, when he wanted the tax reform, he was very,
four different complex views.
Very strong about it. He made the point that look, these guys don't know what they are saying, and I even commended him for that. Now he hasn't done that for state police, but I think he has time. Let's move on. There's a lot of things, Kenneth.
Yes.
Now,
and you were saying something about his threats, as in when he wants something.
Yeah.
Good. I listened to the khaki-wearing politician who used to say he's fighting for the people, but who is now a bourgeois in your studio. I'm talking about Adam Salio Shomole. And when he was talking about Tinubu, he said Tinubu is the only person that has not decamped from one party to the other, trying to create the deceit of consistency. Because we are talking about going into 2 years. The most inconsistent politician in Nigeria that has no ideology, no policy, no principle is His Excellency Bola Tinubu. I take it from 1999. I always say, don't take my words for it. We're talking about coalition. We're talking about this.
Yes.
And then somebody wants to give him as an example as a person that has been consistent in being in opposition. White lie.
Now, and I'm going to start with North Central, and then I'll build it up, Now, I personally think that what is happening in North Central, which is not new, is cumulative, is quite, for me, I find it very, very alarming. It's a very troubling situation. And I think that as a people, I think we have even lost our humanity up to a point, because those deaths, those callous attacks no longer infuriate us as it ought to be. Yes. Which is why, I have tried on this program to humanize the story, to talk about, actually read out the names of the people. And I found the statement of the governor of Plateau State, Caleb Mutfwang. I find it quite courageous to say that this is a genocide that is going on. Very, very forthright. Now, but I am willing to concede that, yes, Tinubu is the one in charge, but this problem started long ago. I wish that he has the courage to deal with it, because what I think has happened is that we've not been blessed with courageous leadership who understand that the reason why you have power is to help the people to transform situation. Again, I'm still holding that hope. Now, the other issue I wanted to talk,
Okay.
Well, no, you've made your point now.
Okay, no, I wanted to point out.
Okay, please go ahead.
I respectfully disagree with you that as a people,
right,
we have lost our humanity. Nigerians are the most, as a matter of fact, Nigerians are the most
I don't mean it. I don't mean it in a blanket sense.
I understand. That's what I'm saying. Because when you say it, it will appear as if we are now condoning or trying to contain. No, we are helpless in the front of incompetent leaders. Look at you. You're a journalist. You're not a soldier. So the best you can do is to be crying. And you're crying. What else will you do? Somebody begged, according to him, danced, and told you he has what it takes to stop it, and was given the chance, and it has exacerbated. So it is not a case of the people. The people are wailing and crying. It's a case of leadership.
I agree with you.
And you talked about courage.
When I'm talking about, you will get back to that. When I was talking about the fact that we are losing our humanity, it's more about the political elites.
Yes, the leadership.
Please go ahead.
We're
talking about this.
Now,
you said I was talking about courage.
You said we have not had men that have courage. I agree. The only thing the politicians in power in Nigeria do, unfortunately, is that they like to afflict the people with the pathogen of fear. They like to afflict them with the virus and bacteria of fear, but we will inoculate them with the vaccine of courage.
Yeah.
Because courage shall of necessity be more contagious than fear.
Yeah.
If they don't want to show courage to solve our problem, we should show courage to take them out.
And that's the point, that's...
Not up to 5,000 persons, embarrassing 200 million persons.
I served under Buhari or Shibajo, and it didn't happen the way we hope, which is why I'm here to say that, look, we need to give Nigerians the information that they need. We need to be able to talk about these things objectively and realistically. We need to engage and contest issues, which is what we are doing today.